April 2025. Trump storms back into the White House, barely warming the seat before swinging his tariff stick, slapping 10% to 25% duties on all imports, jacking it up to 35% for Chinese goods, hollering about making America great again, wiping out trade deficits, hauling manufacturing home. Looks intimidating. Sure, but it's just the same old song and dance. The U.S. has been playing this tariff game since Trump's first go-round, through Biden, now with this full-on tax hike, always chasing the same dream, reaping the world's riches, hogging high-end profits, while leaving no room for others to screw bolts for a living. The plan's loud and proud, but the world's not buying it. Trump's set to turn himself into a global punchline. Trade deficits are the U.S.'s favorite whipping boy. 2024 clocking in at $8,700 billion total, $3,500 billion against China, over a third of the pile. Trump slams the table, says hiking tariffs will jack up foreign prices. Americans will buy less. Deficits will vanish. Sounds like grade school math, but reality doesn't play that nice. Deficits aren't just buying too much, selling too little. They're baked into global fengong and dollar dominance. The U.S. ditched manufacturing to China, Vietnam, places where costs are dirt cheap, settling in as the world's big spender. In 2024, U.S. manufacturing share of GDP limps at 11%. China's at 28%. Your iPhones, shirts, toys. America doesn't make them. And if it did, they'd cost an arm and a leg. Tariffs sky high. Americans won't shell out triple for made in USA. They'll grab Vietnamese or Mexican stuff instead. Deficits just switch dance partners. Trump's swinging at thin air. Dig deeper. Deficits tie straight to dollar supremacy. As the world's money printer, the U.S. has to pump dollars out to keep global trade spinning. In 2024, dollars hold 58% of global reserves, 70% of international settlements. Nations hoard them. The U.S. buys foreign goods to ship dollars abroad. Deficits grease the wheels. Economist Joseph Stiglitz nailed it years ago. The dollar's Triffin dilemma locks the U.S. into deficits, or else the world runs dry on dollars. Trade grinds to a halt. Post-April 2025 tariffs. China's exports to the U.S. might dip 15%. But Vietnam and Mexico jumped 20%. Total deficit stays put. What's that tell you? Deficits are systemic. Tariffs don't fix squat. The U.S. trying to tax its way out is like punching a ghost. Trump keeps yelling deficits mean America's getting robbed. But who's he kidding? Deficits hurt. Sure, manufacturing's hollowed out. 2024 seeing U.S. factory jobs at just 8.2% of the workforce, down from 25% in 1970. Blue-collar folks feel the pinch. But don't play dumb. The U.S. rakes in plenty from deficits. Cheap imports keep prices low. 2024 CPI at 3.1%. Without deficits, inflation would have soared. Foreign cash flows back to buy U.S. debt. 2024 showing $8.2 trillion in foreign-held treasuries. Basically free loans swapped for deficits. Paul Krugman's run the numbers. Deficits save 1% of GDP in interest yearly. Free money in the bank. Deficits aren't the boogeyman. They're a perk of U.S. dominance. Trump targeting them is just plain confused with a straight face. Wiping out deficits with tariffs? Dream on. World currency issuers run deficits by design, not glitch. Late 19th century, Britain ruled the roost. Deficits hit 4% of GDP yearly. Still thrived. Now, with dollar hegemony, the U.S. plays buyer, letting nations earn dollars to snap up treasuries. Invest stateside. The cycle's unbreakable. In 2024, U.S. net international investment sits at negative $18 trillion, the world's top debtor. Yet nobody calls it broke. Why? The dollar's king. Deficits fuel the throne. Trump's April tariff scream, protect America. But global supply chains don't bend to one guy's whims. China's share drops. Southeast Asia, Latin America pick up. The US keeps importing. Deficits roll on. Tariffs shuffle the deck. Not the game. America's fighting a forest fire with a squirt gun. Here's where the US gets downright nasty, hogging high-end profits while refusing others a chance to scrape by. Chips, weapons, space tech. America's got the edge, but it won't sell. In 2024, semiconductors make up just 5% of US exports. Cutting-edge chips like EUV lithography gear stay locked on embargo lists thicker than a phone book. Weapons. F-35 jets, Patriot missiles, guarded like Fort Knox. Even allies beg for scraps. NASA's space tricks are under wraps. SpaceX snagging 60% of 2024 global launches. Tech sharing nowhere in sight. US firms dodge taxes like champs. Apple, Google stashing $5,000 billion in profits overseas in 2023. Not a dime in digital taxes. The EU fuming. This two-faced game, pocketing obscene profits while choking others, is pure bad faith. Manufacturing coming home's a bigger joke. Trump bellows about dragging factories back. But what's the US after? Not shirt plants or bolt shops. It's chip fabs, AI hubs. The 2023 CHIPS and Science Act threw $520 billion at it. TSMC builds in the US. But chips are 5% of imports. No dent in deficits. Low-end jobs won't return. US workers pull $30 an hour. China's at 5. Vietnam lower. 2024 factory vacancies hit 6.3%. Kids rather sling takeout than sweat in plants. Tariffs at 35%. Apple tried shifting Mac Pro stateside. Costs jumped 30%. Priced like a luxury watch. Who's buying? Bringing manufacturing back isn't about shirts or screws. It's about clutching high-end cash, tossing low-end scraps aside. But the world's not dumb. Who's content just bolting for scraps? Tariffs are pointless. America's greedy game's been sniffed out. April 2025 tariffs hit. China slaps 25% on US soybeans. Boeing planes. The EU tags 20% on US cars. Meds. Even Canada hikes 15% on US dairy. Supply chains reshuffle fast. 2024 seeing Vietnam's US exports up 20%. Mexico 15%. China's down. US imports hold steady. Deficits still $8,700 billion. Shopping habits don't budge. 2024 Walmart stock 80% imported. Americans want cheap. Origins irrelevant. Dollar dominance forces deficits. No tariff stops that cash bleed. The world's fed up. Who's okay with being harvested and stomped? China's Belt and Road rolls on. 2024 exports to ASEAN up 12%. Africa 15%. Skipping the US just fine. The EU's eyeing a 2025 digital tax to nail US tech tax dodgers. The Barrett Empire. Brazil build regional trade zones. US tariff walls end up caging itself. The US tariff war's a bust. Plain and simple. Greed without limits. Bad to the bone. It wants to harvest the globe. Hoard high-end profits. Lock up chips. Weapons. Dodge taxes like pros. But won't let others screw bolts for bread. April 2025's all-out tax hikes just the peak of this tired act. The ending's set. Supply chains dodge. Dollar hegemony breeds deficits. Factory dreams fizzle. Trump's show's going broke. Can't play the villain. Can't dodge the laughs. The US keeps flailing. But the world's moving on. Trump wants every edge. High-end loot for him. No crumbs for the rest. But this stinks too bad. Global pushback leaves US factories empty. Deficits fat. Allies sour. Trump's face set for a laughingstock exit.